everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from beautiful but cold Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up today, we got marches happening in this country.
The ladies.
Yeah, bringing up some interesting issues that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
And
But more important, I mean, I just wanted to talk about these marches in the broader context of why people keep resisting giving. One of my theories on why people resist giving equal rights to folk.
yeah.
Spoiler alert. Jesus!
Dan!
We'll get to it.
Yeah, people don't like spoilers.
Oh, well, sorry.
They want to
Spoiled it. Don't listen to the last half of the show then. Anyway, what do you got? You got some stuff?
Yeah, I actually want to start with a story dealing with the Church of England.
The C of E.
It's General Synod,
Yeah.
which is meeting to do all sorts of synoding things.
As a synod will do.
Is that what to synod?
To synod.
I don't know. Anyway, one of the issues that's going to be brought up is what to do with these gay clergy.
What to do indeed.
Who, there's plenty of them, apparently. And up to this point, they've been forced into a vow of celibacy.
Yuck.
And what they want to reform this whole situation. And, but the reform is not to remove the requirement of celibacy,
Yeah.
but just to remove the question of celibacy.
It's don't ask, don't tell.
They have created don't ask, don't tell.
For the church.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is the Church of England. They should have known that it was rude to ask in the first place. It's none of their business.
Apparently, though, whenever a member of the clergy is looking to sort of advance or move up in the organization,
Sure.
there's sort of set things that they're asked about. And
Hey, you fucking any dudes? I think that's how they put it.
Well, for the non-married folk, they ask that question. Now, of course, the expectation still stands that they will adhere to the church's teachings. That intercourse should only be in a heterosexual marriage.
Wow. They are not walking a line very well, frankly. They're like, don't worry, we're not dicks. Mostly.
I know. Like, what's going on here? I thought they'd kind of, the way that it had been presented, I guess, in other articles I read about, like, allowing gay clergy to, serve openly in the
Right.
CV. I thought that they were just kind of, that the issue was settled and that
Weird that they keep losing parishioners.
I mean, what's going on here? This doesn't jibe with any of my perception of the Church of England.
The problem is that they're still a Christian church, and they're trying real hard to stay in that traditional space.
Right.
Because the thing is that the second that they say we're okay with gay people having sex, like they'll say we're okay with gay people. They'll say that.
Right.
Some members of the Anglican Communion, some different offshoot churches will bless a gay marriage. Mm-hmm. Not all.
Right.
Lord knows those African ones aren't getting on board with that. But apparently, wow, yeah, the C of E itself, the main dogs, in that hunt, not okay.
Yeah, and here's the interesting thing about having an official state church.
Yeah.
Apparently, Parliament, if change does not come soon, will be acting to change these policies on their side. They will pass
Oh,
laws
wow.
requiring the Church of England to reform their policies.
I guess I didn't know that the
Can you believe that?
they could do that. I
Isn't that
know.
crazy?
I know that the head of the Church of England is the Queen.
Yes.
So I knew. So I guess I assumed that, like, if she ever wanted to pull her weight, which she never would do,
Never.
she could. But I didn't know Parliament could step in.
Yeah, according to Labour MP, member of Parliament, Ben Bradshaw,
Yeah.
who's a Christian in a civil partnership. It is says it is progress for them to stop asking the celibacy question, but it still leaves the Church of England policy based essentially on dishonesty and encouraging its clergy to lie. There's a growing sense that if church cannot sort this out for themselves, then Parliament may have to do it for them.
Yeah, except that now they've got, like, Theresa May in power. I don't think they're going to do that anytime soon.
Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows? I mean, you got some gay
Still
MPs.
try. They can try.
They can try.
They can go for it.
I'm going to take us to Morris County, New Jersey, where the FFRF swept into action recently.
Oh, yeah.
They challenged $1.4 million in allotments for grants filed that were given to churches
Okay.
to renovate as historic preservation grants.
These are issued from the state government?
City
government?
So I guess it's actually more than 5.5 million in historic preservation grants given to churches over the past 5 years. By state government, I think. Yeah. So the question is, tax dollars. Now, on the one hand, you've got preservation of a historical building.
Yes.
I think, there's something legitimate to that.
Yes.
Even if it is a religious thing, it's also a part of the history. It's part of the fabric of the community. I don't know. It's like it's a sketchy moment.
Oh, yeah. I personally don't think that they should probably be using tax dollars for that, unless unless we're getting something back from those tax dollars. Like if they were going
It's a pretty
to
building.
dedicate, maybe their fellowship hall or whatever as a community center for after school programs or something. Like maybe if there was some kind of little compromise there, maybe we could have this discussion. But otherwise, just the fact that it's a pretty building that's still actively working as a church, that's a problem for me.
Yeah.
If it's been decommissioned and is just like, a symbol of the heritage of the community and whatnot, and they're going to repurpose it, I don't have any problem with that.
Here's the thing. I still recognize a working church. Recognize the thought that a working church can be part of a cultural heritage.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem with preserving a sort of monumental, like an iconic building.
But don't they
a historic
they're
building.
already not paying taxes.
Well,
and
that's
now
a good
they're going
point.
to get tax money given to them?
That's a good point. The FFRF agree with you on that point. They say that they say that they're challenging, especially the $1.04 million in allotments to the Presbyterian Church in Morristown to allow, quote, continued use by our congregation for worship and services. And then this is an interesting thing that you might find interesting. Allotments to St. Peter's Episcopal Church to ensure, quote, continued safe public access to the church for worship. Now, I guess that's public access for worship, though. It's the for worship.
It's the worship
That's
part.
the problem.
Yeah.
If
they were, I don't know, had a little corner of the building that was dedicated to some kind of community outreach that was, secular in nature, more civically.
Yeah, I mean, especially since they're including in their own language that this is for worship.
Yeah.
You know what? That's like us I mean, let's be honest. Our government helps businesses gives businesses grants to do business too.
Yeah.
Which I also kind of think, if you can't make it work, it doesn't work. If you can't make your church work, if you can't make like keeping up your building part of your deal.
Right.
Church doesn't work.
Right.
Your church is broken.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I cry foul.
Anyway, Superior Court.
What about that old mosque down the road?
Yeah. How many is that getting? How much money is that getting?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
it's not part of our heritage. Well, it's part of somebody's heritage. Superior Court Judge Margaret Goodzite disagrees with us.
Goodzite?
Yeah. Oh. She said that she ruled against the FFRF on this one.
Oh, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't like her.
Well,
Martha Goodzite?
Margaret. She said
yeah, she just made my shit list.
Morris County's Historic Preservation Grants Program limits grants to specified and clearly defined historic elements of the structures. More importantly, the funds are not released until architects certify the specific work has been performed. Thus, any diversion of grant funds to support sectarian activities is impossible. So she's saying it can't possibly. She's saying it's not like the money's. Yeah. Fuck what she's saying. Who cares?
They're not buying Bibles with it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. She's like,
is that what she's saying?
No, what she's saying is that, like, it's just for the upkeep of the building. And so
right. So that community doesn't have to spend their money on that building that they own.
The rest of us
are going to just fix up. Now, I would say this. If it was like a pivotal, like really important building on maybe like the town square and they just couldn't keep up their belfry or something like that, maybe I would be like, well, this is for like sort of the civic landscape as much as it is for anything else. Yeah. Maybe that I'd be able to have that discussion. But beyond that, but what you're still doing is you're still freeing up funds that they would have to, like they couldn't have their own fundraiser.
Right?
Have multiple nights of bingo, have some bake sales.
You squeeze your parishioners literally weekly.
Yeah.
Just put the squeeze on a little harder for 2 months or something.
They're apparently bad at raising money.
Just make one of those posters that's got the thermometer on it and you just make it red going up higher and higher until you hit your goal.
Yeah.
Those are great. People love those.
And just, sister act that shit.
Yeah.
Just get out there.
Hire strippers. Those are festive. Just whatever you got to do.
Clean it up. Yeah. Put on some gloves.
Yeah.
Get out there and do some fucking work, people. That's what you do.
Spend a Sunday working instead of...
but I don't need to pay for it.
Blathering.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, that bugs me.
Well, it happened.
I even go back on my comments about the belfry. Fuck the belfry. All right. There's a group...
I should just say the FFRF plans to appeal.
Good.
So you know.
As they should. Yeah. This is a very interesting transition to this story. Okay. I'm sure everybody has heard about, and we've talked about some of the animosity toward the Jewish community in this country that's starting to bubble up thanks to, the alt-right, the white supremacists, white nationalists, la-di-da-di-da, KKK, so forth and so on. There have been Jewish community centers across the country receiving bomb threats over the last few weeks. Places like Florida, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, New York, so forth and so on.
All up and down the eastern seaboard.
It seems like it. Yeah. And they're receiving I guess there were more than 20 reported on, last Wednesday. And it just keeps going, and it's a serious problem, of course. However, something in this article really caught my attention, which is, there are basically three different kinds of calls that you get when a bomb threat is being called in. there'll be sort of the human voice, where there's just somebody talking.
Right.
There'll be one where there's also where they try to disguise their voice in some sort of way.
Right.
And then there are
Like when they talk really high. Is that what they do?
Possibly.
I'm going to bomb your church. Your synagogue is going down, baby. I don't think that's what they do.
No, I don't think so either. However, there are also robocalls.
Uh-huh.
Auto dialers.
Yeah.
They're just calling Jewish community centers.
They just plug in the
with
numbers.
a pre-recorded threat.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, there's something. Like, first of all, you pick up the phone and it's like, hello. There has been, I'm so-and-so, and there is a bomb placed in your community center.
Yeah.
Like, how do you even take that threat? I mean, you have to take a bomb threat seriously.
Yes.
Right? But how do you take a robocalled one where all it is it's just auto dialing? It's just going from one to the next, to the next, to the next.
Yeah.
Isn't that just bizarre?
It's weird. Well,
like,
I mean,
talk about lazy white supremacists.
I don't know if that's lazy. Maybe
that's lazy.
I think that's just
get on the fucking phone.
I'm just glad
and make some calls.
I'm glad to hear that the haters out there have gotten into the ingenuity thing. They're streamlining.
Yeah.
That's not.
That's horrible, Dan.
Yeah.
No, this is if you're going to be hateful, pick up the phone and do it yourself.
Do it yourself. Have the balls to actually
disguise your voice.
Right. And I think that is the right. I think the high pitched falsetto is the right voice for a bomb threat. Maybe with some sort of accent to go along with it. What accent do you do with that?
Oh,
you do sort of that like Audrey in the the plant one, the movie
Little Shop of Horrors.
Little Shop of Horrors. Thank you.
Okay.
God damn, my brain just does not want to come up with certain things.
Wow.
But yeah, if you could do like a Brooklyn sort of thing. We're gonna bomb your whole synagogue. Your JCC is going down. Could do that.
You could do that. That's pretty sick, Dan.
That's one of those things where it's like, no, I really don't want to take it seriously. Damn.
And of course this is just we're laughing.
And there are,
horrible.
to be clear, there are no bombs.
There have so far been no bombs. None
just
of these Jewish community centers have actually been blown up. However, they of course have to. The FBI is on it.
Yeah,
and they're trying to track down these folk because you can't do this. This is
right. No, absolutely not.
First of all, you can't call in a bomb threat to anything, right?
No,
it's.
But this meets the definition of terrorism.
This is terrorism. It's they're specifically trying to rattle the Jewish community in this country,
and it's you know what the real bullshit about this is? This could be a kid. With the technology that we have these days, this could be just one, 18-year-old dipshit like Dylan Roof out there just.
It could be,
or it could be a
let's not diminish it either.
Yeah,
there are hateful people out there, and they're looking to change our country,
and they're feeling particularly emboldened right now.
Yeah, and so it's terrifying. My heart goes out to the Jewish community.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't want anybody to feel unsafe or targeted for being who they are.
Yeah.
Whatever their heritage, their religion, their sexuality, race, whatever, in this country. I mean, that is not what this country's about.
You and I rail. I don't want anybody to feel that way in any country, but
we don't have any influence in other countries, and hopefully we have a little bit here.
I was going to say, you and I rail against religions and against the influence that religions have and against a lot of things. Neither of us would ever want a religious person to feel unsafe, to feel unwelcome, to feel marginalized in society. Right. That's not the point.
No. It's
we
what
can
they believe
disagree
that
with
we
them.
disagree with.
We can disagree with them, but like that is just that it is inexcusable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I agree.
Wow, we just came down against terrorism. What a controversial position to take. I'm going to take us to. I guess we have to acknowledge that Donald Trump was inaugurated and is our current president now.
Yes,
in this country. That's real.
You speak truth.
That's real life. That's happening.
Did you see the thing in the Scottish newspaper?
Yes, that listed it in their TV guide. That listed the inauguration in their TV guide as a episode of Twilight Zone. The comeback of the
4-year-long episode of the Twilight Zone.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah, they hit the nail on the head with that. Anyway, one of the things that happened at this inauguration is praying. And boy, did it happen a lot.
There was a lot of praying. I was so annoyed.
Yeah. One of the groups, there's one group of people that's really annoyed about it, and that is a lot of Muslims are very angry at Imam Mohammed Majid, who joined in the praying with Donald Trump. I understand that why they would be angry. Basically, he went and prayed at the inauguration of a man who has openly said he wants to register all Muslims and keep Muslims from coming into this country, and said all kinds of hateful things about Muslims.
Yeah.
The fact that he was even invited is kind of a miracle, but it's a much better statement not to go.
Yeah.
In that case.
Yeah.
Shocking. So yes, they found them a Muslim to go ahead and pray. Man, I wonder what Trump's people, what the Trumpites, those who are his followers, how they feel about that guy.
Well, even the Muslims realize that Trump is right.
Oh,
they
right.
want to be on the registry, Dan.
Oh, right. Because if if they're not doing anything wrong,
and he's already here, it's not like they're going to keep him out of the country.
He's the former president of the Islamic Society of North America. He's worked apparently to try and de-radicalize Muslim youth. I guess that's a good thing.
He probably, rationalized it in his head that it's better to have the presence there and to be on that lectern and to...
Well, here's what he said. Why don't we let him say it?
Oh, okay.
Which is, he said, quote, "One of the tasks of the religious leader is to convey the truth and the values of Islam to everyone, including those in power, to advocate for what is good and to address those who misunderstand and have misconceptions about the beauty of Islam." I get that. He says, as leaders, we must always tread the high moral ground in all circumstances. When we are presented with a platform to share our values, we must take the opportunity. And yeah, it's probably a good idea to put a Muslim face in that crowd that isn't...
in some way, it's probably better to have been invited than not invited at all.
Yeah.
In some weird way. I mean, except for the fact that what is going on in the minds of the organizers, like, and with Trump, like, is Trump? Who knows if he's even gonna? Is he following through on that one? Is that one of the ones that are gonna?
No. Is he following through on anything?
Well, he's gonna get that. He wants that wall.
He's gonna talk about a wall. He's not gonna get a wall.
He's going to make Mexico pay for it.
Well, when they write a check, make a wall.
Well, that's the thing. Like,
yeah, we'll get him to pay for it
in
after
one way
the fact
or another.
After the fact, right? That'll work. Great job there.
Through tariffs, maybe. We'll get it. We'll get our money.
Yeah, that stone certainly has some blood to squeeze. Anyway, it's an interesting dilemma for a Muslim leader. Hey, you want to pray? And make no mistake, there were 4,000 prayers are surrounding this inauguration,
I didn't even notice this guy.
He was sandwiched in. I'm sure he was like put in some sort of like some breakfast event that like 32 people came to or whatever. But there you go.
Probably.
You know.
Poor guy. That's a dilemma.
It is a dilemma.
I don't think anybody should have gone to the thing, but
no.
What are you gonna do?
I couldn't even bring myself to watch it.
It was on in the office at work, so I just kind of listened in, and everybody was just kind of like standing around staring at it, and just like.
My friend was horrified by what he had to say and told me what it was, and I was like, "Yeah, that's all. That's what he is. That's Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Did you not know who he was?
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, Dan.
Yeah.
Pot. Weed.
The marijuana.
Grass.
Devil's sticky icky.
Yes. It's gaining some momentum. Legalization is in this country.
Okay.
And the latest group of kind of who's really on board with legalization. Apparently, a lot of conservative Christian legislators are jumping on the legalized weed bandwagon. Now 28 states have legalized medical marijuana.
28. Wow.
28. And 60% of Americans support legalization, according to a Gallup poll. Including 42% of Republicans.
There you go.
Approve of legalization, which is interesting. And then, it's actually
out.
medical marijuana. It didn't have much traction, but it was brought up in last year's legislative session here in Utah, and apparently it's going to be brought up again.
Yeah, I have a friend who's on the front lines of that particular issue because she has a terrible condition where her head just always like is excruciating pain.
Oh, dear God.
And it's like a neurological face thing, and she's just and weed is what helps.
Wow.
So fuck you if you don't want her to feel better.
Yeah.
At least medical. If the doctors are telling you it works, shut the hell up and let them do it.
But even recreation has gained some steam. I do believe that most of these conservative Christian legislators are more about the medical marijuana.
It's an easier sell.
It is an easier sell, and more and more people have come into contact with pot in one way or another.
Yeah.
Right. They know someone who's, whatever medical condition was alleviated a little,
or someone who
pain that was, diminished because of it.
Or they all have a grandson who smokes a lot, but he's super sweet and nice and helps them with their leaves. And
always hungry though. Boy, that kid.
Always hungry. It is interesting because, it's a tough sell because as a conservative, I feel bad if you want to do this because the conservative movement of this country has been built since the Nixon era on the backs of demonizing drug use as being, and when I say demonizing, it's basically satanic. How bad it is.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the Reagans. Most of the Republican presidents that we've had came in, at least in part, on a platform of demonizing drug use and getting, tough on drugs and the war on drugs and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So, for them to like switch that now and say, oh, no, this one's okay.
Well, that's what they're doing. They're not saying these people aren't like, oh, let's decriminalize everything.
Right.
That's not the discussion. This is one substance or one plant or whatever.
One drug
that they're getting okay with because it's just
because it turns out to be
overwhelmingly
it's safer than cigarettes and alcohol.
Oh yeah. In fact, here the article includes a picture of a billboard. I don't know where it is, but it has a beer mug, a football helmet, and a pot leaf. And it says beer, football, and over the pot leaf it says safer.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's not, I don't think it's provocative.
It is.
But that's where we're at this point. And we're so far along on it that even like the crazy Christians are coming around.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of time, Dan.
It is.
How long in Utah do you think?
Well, I hesitate to predict because I would have put Utah at the back of the pack in terms of gay marriage, and then boom.
Yeah, except it was court decision. It
Yeah.
wasn't the people of Utah.
Yeah.
You know.
This
would be our legislature deciding.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to predict unless, all that has to happen is that the church gives a little wink and a nod and says we don't care about that, and suddenly boom.
Oh, because somebody gets sick.
Right, exactly. Once Thomas Monson's glaucoma really needs help, suddenly, oh shit, yeah, medical at least.
Is he still alive?
Who knows?
Is he really?
He's animatronic now.
I would think he'd have to be.
They've just put a Thomas Monson skin suit over the old bear at Chuck E. Cheese or whatever.
How could he still be alive? That man.
Yeah.
He is just clinging on.
Much to, I'm sure, many people's chagrin, because they have to keep trotting him out, and he's not well. They're not.
I know.
He's not cogent or coherent.
It's sick. They parade him around.
Yeah.
This 90-some-odd-year-old man. How old is he?
Oh, he's like 4,000 years old. The leader of the Mormon Church. All right, Clarksdale, Mississippi.
Oh,
area.
Clarksdale.
You and I went near there.
We've been there.
I tried to sell my soul to the devil there.
Didn't work. Didn't take.
Didn't take.
He already has it, Dan.
Not worth even guitar lessons for me. My soul is not even worth that to him.
No.
All right. Down there's a principal of an elementary school whose test scores, their standardized test scores, went from, as a school, they were getting an F. Mm-hmm. They were failing as a school.
Yeah.
Within a couple years, whoop, up to A.
Really?
As a whole school.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, this is, it's virtually miraculous. And I'll tell you what, the principal of the school agrees and attributed it in part to prayer.
Really? Not, maybe teachers doing their job?
No, it's definitely not that. It's actually cheating. They were cheating.
What?
Yeah, it looks like, there's no absolute proof of it. There were some kids who were saying that, they were actually given answers for standardized tests.
Oh my God.
And also, schools that come after that school. So there was a junior high that was reorganized to include 5th and 6th grade.
They're feeding into.
Well, So once these kids leave this school and go to that school, all of these kids who are doing so much better, who are advanced students, who are have above grade level understanding and knowledge, suddenly not doing so well when they get to the new school.
Well,
or maybe the new school's not praying enough.
They're not. They need to learn the lessons of this principal.
LaWanda Tyler Jones, who is the principal of the thing, she was talking about how she anointed the desks and did other things. That must be it, right? That explains everything. Couldn't be cheating. What other explanation could there be?
Oh, this poor woman, poor school, poor kids.
Yeah.
All that effort to cheat. Hey, how about teach them?
Well, I don't know if you know this. That's hard. Teaching kids is hard.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. But guess what? All those people signed up to do.
Yeah.
Be teachers.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, but then again, unfortunately, it's not like a place like Clarksdale, Mississippi can draw in the creme of the creme de la creme of the teaching pool.
That's sadly probably true.
Yeah.
Nonetheless.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky.
Well, yeah, I mean, so she, were there's like some bonuses attached to this? Like how, were they going to shut down the school?
Probably.
She was going to lose her job?
Yeah, I don't know.
Guess what's going to happen now?
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Look, you've incentivized prayer, I guess.
No. Or the school's going to close.
Cheating.
She's going to lose her job.
She's going to do what she needs to do to keep it. I mean, not the teaching thing, like you said.
Right.
She's not going to do that. They're not going to be able to accomplish that, but yeah.
People amaze me because like you couldn't just think that through, right?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
if the kids wind up at another school, it's going to be like whatever middle school you feed into.
Yeah. How are you going to get away with this?
That you're going to get caught.
You got a year.
People are going to be like
2 years.
Oh, we're getting a bunch of those, Clarksdale, elementary schools, kids.
Oh, they're
so good. We're so excited to have them, and they show up and they're just
yeah. Heidelberg Elementary is
Heidelberg.
Yeah, we got those Heidelberg kids. Here's the thing.
We're gonna bring up our scores. This is gonna be awesome.
Here's the quote from a state education official who interviewed Ms. Tyler Jones in investigating these alarmingly high score. This amazing shift in the school's scores.
The impossible shift.
Said she indicated to me during an interview that she anointed the desks, the pencils, the doorways, and also the students' heads with holy water.
Oh, no.
What the fuck? Man, that is some shit right there.
I hope she didn't really.
She also turned one of the water fountains into a baptismal font. I don't know.
Well, yeah.
Not good.
Oh, my God. All right. Well, if you have anything you'd like to say about this.
Are we done?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
That's why I wasn't going on to another story.
Yeah.
And you normally lead in.
Yeah, that's so funny. Hey, great job, everybody. We made it through. Anyway.
So, yeah, if you'd like to join in and have anything to say about anything that you've heard so far on the show, you can email us. The email address is podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Yeah, or go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
While you're there, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join. It is a closed group, but we'll let you in.
You can also voicemail us. You can leave us your voice, which we may or may not play on the show at our own discretion. But it's awesome when you do that. We actually really love it when you do that. Call us 424-666-8442. So it's 424, then the devil's number, then TGIA.
So, Dan.
Yes?
Do you like Jim Baker as much as I do?
Oh, here's the thing. You go for the really wise religious content. You stay for the food.
For the delicious food.
For the will last into eternity. Buckets food.
Basically, the man is really running more of like a Christian home shopping network.
It is
sort of thing. There's always some banner on that's selling something.
Yeah,
a book, food, whatever.
Ball caps with a cross on it.
Yes,
whatever. The man has a business model, people.
Yeah, and is not paying a lot of taxes, probably,
or any.
But anyway, so here's what he has to say about our new president.
Oh, yeah.
And what?
It's a very coherent message. I think we can all learn a lot from this.
You're seeing the warfare between good and evil.
No.
It's all about it. Everything that's going on right now is good and evil. All the political war.
Yes.
They want to kill Trump. You know why? Because they want to have sin.
That's right.
They want to kill their babies.
Right.
1 million women are getting ready to march in Washington, D.C. right after the inauguration so that they can kill their babies. Who? I'm telling you, people, give me a Bible. If it was in the Bible that King, went and killed babies, and that the women of the city marched, 1 million women marched for the right to kill their own babies. Women don't do that if it's normal.
It's true.
Women fight to save their babies.
It's true.
That's natural.
Oh my! They want to kill their babies.
They're marching for
So
the
they
right to
can.
kill their babies.
Love it. They love killing babies. Dan.
You know what? Let me just say, it is fun. It is a good goof of a Friday night. You're bored. You're just looking for something to
pregnant.
do. Get yourself knocked up.
Yeah.
Then you got to, you get to go out and kill you a baby.
And you just do it over and over and over.
Yeah.
'Cause it's fun.
Oh yeah. I do. That's it. It's a great straw man. Like, he doesn't have to listen to any of the other arguments, any of the other complaints. They just want to. I loved the notion that we want that I assume he's talking about us. We liberal, atheist types.
Right.
We want to kill Trump, he says, because we want to sin. Well, I got news for you, brother. I'm a sinning. Like,
One way or the other.
I don't need no Trump to do stuff that you don't like.
Yeah.
I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah.
They want to kill Trump. Murder. That's what he's claiming, that we want to murder Trump so that we can sin. What? Well, that sounds about right.
I don't even know what to say.
I mean, we'll talk a lot more about this later. But man, he's got our number, I think. I feel like he's really nailed it on that one. Hey, we had some folks write into us and call in. I'm just going to launch in here. This is from Frederick. Hey, hi, Frank and Dan. On your last episode, you mentioned how people can buy beer at McDonald's abroad. As someone who grew up in Sweden, I can confirm that it's true. Unfortunately, the only beer available in Swedish McDonald's is what is known as Class 1 or light beer. This type of beer contains only 2.25% alcohol by volume.
What?
So it makes Utah's 4% seem downright excessive.
Wow.
Yeah. We thought our beer was a little light on the alky.
That's really light. Okay.
Yeah, he says because of the low alcohol content, there's no age limit for buying light beer. And as most 14-year-olds know, if you drink a lot of the light shit, you get drunk.
Boy, you gotta drink a lot of that, though.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm amazed you don't have just fat Swedes running around everywhere.
At least the teens.
Yeah, all these. You don't have a teen obesity epidemic from all the kids trying to get drunk at McDonald's. Anyway, I can't believe our show has begun. I should have prefaced this by saying this is the segment on our show when we talk about McDonald's outside of the United States of America. That's all we talk about anymore. Anyway, no, thanks for the stuff about Sweden. Apparently, it's very much like Utah because they have people beer. That's Class 2 beer, which is 3.5%. Still not high.
Still not the 4%.
A high percent.
Yeah.
And that can be bought in grocery stores by anyone 18 or over. Yeah. Anything over that is a Class 3 or strong beer and only sold in a liquor store, and you have to be 20 years old. So, that's an interesting thing. Apparently, the more diluted the alcohol is, the younger it's okay to buy it. But
there's some reason there.
As the writer, as Frederick says, if you drink enough of it, it'll have the same effect.
Yeah. I have a voicemail that I can play.
Let's play that.
A really great point that this caller has. I'm just going to let him get into it.
Hey, Dan. Hey, Frank. This is Scott. I was calling because I was listening to another podcast that talks about the Supreme Court, and they brought up the Satanic Temple. What's funny is that, I actually wrote into them to point out that it wasn't actually Satanists because they seem to think it was. And then your episode, most recent one, you guys brought up that, they had a after-school program in Utah that taught science. And I've been beginning to wonder if maybe, the Satanic Temple isn't doing a little more harm than good. A lot of Christians already think that science is, of Satan or tied to Satanism. They see it as totally, against their religion. And a lot of, Christians tend to see atheists as, satanic or influenced by Satan. You guys brought up in the most recent episode that not a lot of people realize, necessarily do the work to make that connection that it's atheists trying to prove a point. I'm almost wondering if at this point they're not doing more harm than good, kind of proving the point that the Christians are making that, science is satanic or confirming that atheists are influenced by Satan, missing the point entirely and just confirming what the Christians already believe. I love what they do. I love hearing their stories. But just giving it a little more thought, it does pose a couple problems that I don't know that they've fully fleshed out or fully thought through. So just a couple thoughts. Thank you guys. Love the show. Keep it up. Have a great week.
Well, that's a really interesting point, actually. I think I see what he's saying. You've got these after-school programs that are now connecting science and Satanism, and, they're already afraid of both. I don't know that I share his concern. I get where he's coming from, and I think that it's valid. I just think all you have to do is say the word Satan and put it in a school, and nobody hears any of the rest of it. Nobody hears what they're actually teaching in the after-school program. What's important about it is that they keep it crystal clean, for their message to work. There has to be nothing objectionable in what they actually teach other than the word Satan, and so that's what they're doing. But I get what he's saying. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, though, I think his point is that even the science isn't all that clean for a certain part of the population, and so, I don't know what you could ever really have in one of those programs that's going to that all sides could agree on,
right?
Let's say, but yeah, I think it's actually a pretty good point that the Satanic Temple, when they're showing up and their way of protesting Ten Commandments on court grounds, right, or on Capitol grounds, that their solution to that is to propose a Baphomet monument to go in next to the Ten Commandments. I think that's brilliant work.
Yeah.
Maybe Scott does have a point, though, that when they start promoting science or a particular worldview, there is a threat there of a potential problem that they could. But I kind of see Scott's point.
Yeah,
they could cause some problem here. They could cause people to misunderstand.
That's an interest. I do see that.
I'm really kind of taking what Scott says to heart a little bit.
I also think I do, now that I'm just sort of riffing. I wonder if it might not have been a good idea just to teach the kids not like satanic ritual or we're going to sacrifice a cow today or whatever, but rather, the Satanic Temple, if you go to their website, if you read the tenets of their belief system, they use Lucifer, they use Satan as this sort of figurehead, not as a mythological concept. Mm-hmm. They don't believe in a real personified Satan. They believe in a Satan in the story who's the first sort of rebel against an oligarch who is God, sort of thing.
Right.
I think they should teach that, because even though I am the one who just said that they needed to keep it clean, maybe I'm wrong. maybe what does it, because their whole thing is Me Too, right? Their whole thing is to show the absurdity of what the Christians are doing by taking it to the extreme.
Right.
And by taking it to the extreme that the Christians wouldn't like.
Right.
And so, what you can't do is do anything that would be abusive to the children.
Right.
Or that would be confusing, or that would be bad for the kids. But if you're just teaching them about this person, Lucifer, who is a pretend person, and here's why we like him.
Right.
We like the idea that he thinks for himself instead of just accepting blindly what other people have to say. And we like the idea that he believes in other people getting the chance to think for themselves as well. And and you just find only good things that could be related to that. And you teach them good principles, but using that as your platform. Maybe that would be even more effective. Just keep it about Satan. Come on, you guys.
Well, yeah, follow through on the whole thing.
Yeah, you're Satanists. Keep it about...
Because, that's the genius of putting up the Baphomet.
Right. Is that it's about Satan.
It goes all the way. It's just like the coloring book, right?
Now, the coloring book is great because it is wholesome. But it's got these images of kids with... The pentagrams around their necks and stuff.
Wearing a T-shirt with like the goat head with the horn.
Yeah, with the Baphomet thing. So yeah, I mean that's what works.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Maybe
connect the dots pentagram.
Yeah, maybe the science thing isn't the right way to go. Anyway, that's an interesting call. Thanks. Jack wrote into us. Hi, Frank and Dan. Love the show. I'd like to offer a small correction. Towards the end of the show, you cited Waltz versus Tax Commission of the City of New York. In your commentary, you said and owned real estate in Richmond County in Virginia. Jack very rightly points out that what I meant was Richmond County is one of New York's 5 boroughs. Yeah. So yes, I mistakenly said. I think I read the word Richmond. And my brain just said Virginia, and I just stopped there. But yes, New York.
New York.
Thank you for that correction, Jack. Also, Lee wrote in. Lee says, hey, Frank and Dan, Lee from a very small town. Oh, he said very, very small town. Melfort, Saskatchewan, where we have 14 churches for 6,000 people. I watched Trump's inauguration today. First time I've really paid close attention to politics. I'm only 23. While I've always noticed a stark contrast between Canadian and American politics, especially when it comes to the involvement of religion, I really became aware when, within an hour or so of watching the ceremony, it was filled with prayers upon prayers and endless mentioning of God and Jeebus. With Canada's election of Trudeau last year, I can't remember any mention of religion whatsoever from any party. So much for the First Amendment. Yeah, we have a cute little thing that we like to do where we say one thing, but tradition is more important. And so yes. I mean, the inauguration,
Yeah, it's...
Who knows? Yeah, it's not nice. For those of us who don't believe, it's just a lot to take.
Yeah.
All of the praying after praying after praying.
One after another, too. That was weird to me.
It's so inclusive.
You have one prayer, and then you do something.
Yeah.
And then maybe you have another prayer, and you do something else.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
This was just...
They need to be blessed
praying.
by Baptist God, by Methodist God, by Episcopalian God, Unitarian God. They need to be covered by all of the gods.
That's not how it works, Dan.
It is if you're inaugurating, because that's all they do. Oh, there you go.
All right, you have any other email?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, we have a couple people to thank on Patreon.
Yes.
We had one person sign up as a new donor, Lee, who comes in as Saint Lee.
We have a sainted patron?
Sainted patron.
Oh, my God.
And, of course, James is still our saint. If you'd like to be like Lee...
And you should.
Please visit our website, thankgodimatheist.com. And
go to the Facebook and go to the Patreon.
click on the Patreon link and go sign up.
Yeah. Well, Frank,
Yeah.
there's a bunch of ladies out marching all over this country of ours.
Marching ladies.
Marching women. Women are from Mars. Martian women? No. Isn't that a thing? Men are from Mars. Women
Ladies are from Venus.
Ladies. The ladies. Hello, ladies. Yeah, so here's the thing. I was actually pretty inspired by all of the marching that happened over this weekend. I think it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
We had a march here in Utah. There was a march in Park City where Sundance Film Festival is happening.
Yeah.
I think there were some celebrities.
There were a number of celebrities
involved in that one.
Yeah. They were right at the front, holding a big banner.
Yeah.
Lots of photo ops.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
There will be another march actually here in Salt Lake tomorrow.
That's true, too.
Tomorrow being our
Monday. Tomorrow,
not whatever tomorrow you're hearing this.
Right.
Anyway, and then of course there's the marching that happened in D.C. The big one was Washington D.C., where it is estimated that over 500,000 marchers.
Wow, that's phenomenal. That's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people, and not for nothing, dwarfed poor little Trumpy's inauguration crowd.
I know. Poor Trump.
And his new press secretary had a little fit about those numbers, the numbers that were reported.
Well, they were I mean, according to the White House, it was the best attended inauguration ever.
Yeah, he was including TV numbers in that, and I still don't believe it.
No, so Trump tweeted that he beat Barack Obama's last inauguration. Yeah, he did. But Obama's first inauguration was like 4 or 5 million more people watching than this one.
Yeah.
Ronald Reagan set the all-time record, which was like 42 million people tuning in.
Oh, really? On TV?
Yeah. So like
Obama had the most people.
You have to beat Ronald Reagan.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing special about a Donald Trump.
Nobody cares about Donald.
He's not. You're not making history here. You know.
Well, he is. He is.
A wealthy white man gets elected to the presidency. Wow.
Right, but I don't know that we've ever had somebody so scary.
Well,
40.
I certainly
he's
haven't.
entering office with only 40% approval rating.
Yeah.
That's a record.
That's a record.
That's history, right there.
That's not the good kind of history. The good kind of history, however, is the sea of pink that hit the mall. That's a British way of saying a mall in the sense of a long stretch of land. Anyway, the mall in Washington D.C. not the shopping mall, but the mall, which is the space between the Capitol building and the Lincoln Memorial,
anchored by Macy's on one end and
JCPenney on the other. Man, it was a remarkable sight when you see pictures of that many women marching on it. And I just, I started to think about the struggles of, for equality for women, equality for people of color in this country, and how we're still so not there.
I know. It's an ongoing battle.
It is just, and very much so, people, LGBT rights, all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I've tried in my thinking to be really fair about where I think the roots of where the resistance to this progress is coming from. And every time I think about it, and every research that I do, everything always circles back to this religious shit. All roads in my mind, and I'm not I'm not a sociologist. I'm not an anthropologist.
No?
I don't know about these things necessarily in any kind of way that I can't provide data for this. But my God, you know, when you find the people who are fighting against equality.
Yeah.
Equality seems like an easy thing to get on board with. Like,
it's not, though.
It's not.
It's not. People find it really, really, really hard, and they don't understand it, and they don't understand what it means not to have sets of rights.
That's true.
You know, okay, it's a reality. They know that it's true. They know that, you know, I mean, before gay marriage was the law of the land, they just couldn't understand what that meant.
Yeah.
What it meant to live that way, you know? And the whole thing is just, anyway.
No, it's true. I think that,
but you're right in that they use religion as a crutch.
Yeah. What they do is they fall back on, making this about right and wrong in a different way.
Yeah.
So we make it about right and wrong in the sense of like, hey, look at all these people who, get a shittier deal than I get. I mean me, Dan Beecher, the straight white male. Like, I get a better deal, just sort of out the chute. I just get to start on a higher level than you know, women, people of color, gay people, trans people, whatever. Like, just as an accident of my birth. And so, like, you know, for anyone to say everybody else shouldn't be able to start at the same level as me is for them to be inherently shitty. And on some level, you have to know that. So you got to justify it. And the easiest go-to to justify it is to say, not what God wants. Because then nobody can argue with you. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, yeah, I mean that shuts down any discussion.
Right.
You know, there is no more discussion after whatever God wants. You know.
Yeah.
But I mean,
you trot out a couple of scriptures that seem to support your case. You do what Jim Baker did in the clip that we played earlier, which is you trot out a bunch of straw man arguments that aren't the arguments that anybody's making or are like the minor argument, and you make that the only argument that you address.
Right.
So yes, I mean, I think abortion is one of the major issues of the women's movement.
Right.
But you know what? It's not the argument.
No.
That's not the point.
No. But that's where they'll go every single time because they know they can get their audience worked up.
Right. And they can easily answer that one.
Because, yeah,
you just call it
killing
wants babies.
To kill their baby. They want to kill their baby, right? Like,
oh, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but it's this baby bloodlust that these liberal women have because they're possessed by demons.
But getting paid, you know, the same as a man.
Having the right to sort of, you know, walk down the street without harassment.
Yeah.
Like that kind of shit. Well, but then what about my right to harass her, though? I mean, truly, where are they going with it? There's nowhere you can go except to just say, nope, Jesus wants the man to be the head of the household.
Yeah.
That's how God ordained it to be. And if that's how God has ordained it, then by gum, that's how my family's gonna be.
Yeah, it's just good luck doing that in this day and age. Like,
Well,
I'm sorry, mom has to get out and get a job.
Yeah.
Because the families that aren't, those poor kids, the poor whole family, you know, trying to live off of one income, unless dad has like some like crazy good job, you just can't. The average family just can't do it.
Right.
And so it's just a horrifying argument. But that's the whole idea of the good old days and making America great again.
Right. The again is the big operative word there, because what it's trying to do is that age-old Republican thinking, which is things were so much better back in blank times.
It's just playing off of nostalgia for a simpler time. every generation has some sense of a simpler time,
of a better time.
Better time
when Leave It to Beaver was, when you had a wholesome family life and dad went away to work and mom stayed home and took care of the family. And everyone was always, of course, happy with that arrangement.
Yeah.
Everyone was content.
Yeah. I mean, this obsession with bringing, high-paying manufacturing jobs back to the United States.
When that doesn't exist anymore.
You might get manufacturing jobs back, but they're not going to be like what they were.
Right. Because
also,
we're competing on a global scale here.
Are you bringing back the unions that brought around the high-paying wages? I don't think so.
Right.
Get fine. Bring back manufacturing jobs.
Good luck.
They're not going to pay what they used to.
No.
Not even remotely. These families are not going to be able to live off of them. But that's the narrative, though.
Right.
Because those manufacturing jobs, those men would go work in the factory, make a good living, and be able to support their family. And their wife was at home, and everything was great.
Yeah, it's so weird,
just like
though.
on TV.
This concept that one kind of life should work for everybody.
Yeah.
There's only 7 billion people in the world. We should be able to find a single box that we can fit everybody into, shouldn't we?
Yeah, and it was that 1950s America box.
Where
that's the best one.
It was the little boxes, little boxes.
Yeah.
It's Levittown. That's the dream, people. That's the goal. I just think, and it's not just women, of course. Women, it's pretty easy to justify your oppression of women by the Bible. That's pretty easy. Mm-hmm. Or heck, if you've got a Quran, you're set.
Oh my God,
you're golden. Really, although I don't know that it's any worse than the Bible in terms of suppressing the women. It has more rules for them in terms of what they're allowed to wear.
Rules are usually pretty good to help oppress people.
For oppression, yeah, that's true. That's true. But you know what? You can do racism through the Bible. Mm-hmm. You can definitely, God didn't. He didn't have much to say, but boy, he did say a few things about the gays in there.
Couple
didn't say anything about trans people, but that's okay.
That one, we're just going with our gut on that one.
We're just going to call it bad. We're going to call that gay. We're just going to call that. That's the same as gay. I think
it's got to. I'm not used to it,
right?
So therefore, I'm pretty sure God doesn't like it.
Yeah. That's that. If God made you a boy and then you say you're a girl, then you're going against what God said.
Yeah,
God made you a man. Well, but no, God made me a woman. I've always been a woman. I just have these parts. Nope, parts. It's pretty easy.
Oh.
I do wonder what would be somebody who's sort of unthinkingly railing against trans people. What if there's a trans person, let's say an F to M, female to male trans person who is now a man who was a lesbian as a woman and now is a man who likes women. You've gotten rid of a gay. You got yourself a straight.
That's some conversion.
Isn't that what isn't that what you want?
Right there?
Isn't that they should be celebrating trans people because sometimes they stop being gay because they're actually heterosexual.
Oh, Dan.
I mean, I'm just saying.
You make a good point, Dan.
Think you.
A point that's hard to argue with. I'll say that.
It's hard to even understand. It's barely coherent. Yeah, I think when you here's the thing. I don't think that it's a coincidence that this moment of social progress, this moment in our history when we are actually fighting, we being those of us who want to fight this thing, for gender equality, racial equality, sexual equality, all of those things. Mm-hmm. It is not a coincidence that as that's happening, church belief and attendance is going down.
Yeah.
That is I defy you not to draw a straight line there. There is a correlation.
Yeah.
and I don't think that you can deny that.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting because, like, you know, the pendulum historically has swung a little on these issues.
Yeah, backwards is the direction we're going right now. On that pendulum ride.
A momentary little backward thing is happening. But ultimately, like, I also think that it's, you know, I'm not one of the great, you know, prophets of the internet or anything, but, like, it is interesting to me that all of this progress is being made during the rise of the internet as a massive communication device and a means for people to connect globally, you know, with people who are like them, right?
Yeah.
And so there was an ability for gay men, I can speak to that one specifically, that arose all over the country, right? All over the world, for that matter, to meet other gay men near them because of the internet, right?
You're talking about Grindr right now.
No, I'm talking about the, you know, gay.com and what were some of the other ones, you know, but just chat rooms and forums and finding other people who were like them and being able to connect and realize that even though they live in Podunk, wherever, right, there are more other people out there and they're actually here. I don't have to move to New York or to San Francisco. I can be gay and I can be here, and there are other people like me, and made coming out of the closet easier. And I think the same issue has happened and helped promote the trans community. I think that we've seen it all across the board with all of these movements that have come along.
We see it within the atheist community.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the Bible Belt, where it is scary and hard to be an atheist,
right,
where where so many people have expressed to us how alone they feel, how out in the darkness they feel, and then they come into a place like the TGIA Members Only Lounge or whatever, or another group online, and they find that, oh shit, you're from Tennessee too? Holy shit! Look at all these people who are from the same place. Wait, you're from that town? I'm from this town. It's 2 towns over. And it becomes this thing where it's like, oh, I'm not alone.
Right.
There's power in my group.
Yeah,
exactly. There's unity here.
And so, like, I think it's easy to, you know, like, boy, you could look at a place like Berlin in the 1930s and go, yeah, the pendulum can swing the other way. Yeah. You know, like, gay community, the trans community found a safe harbor in Berlin.
Yep.
And that was destroyed. And by the rise of fascism and nationalism in Germany. And so you look at sort of a current situation and you go, wow, I think we want to think that the pendulum could swing back, right? Yeah. And erase a lot of the progress that we've made. I don't think that it can, really, at the end of the day. I don't think they can wipe it away. They're going to try, and they're going to succeed in a couple areas.
Yeah, they're going to dial some things back.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to rebuild a few things.
Yeah, we're losing a few steps, but the steps that we will then come back and make are going to just push us that much further.
I agree.
We're going to be more emboldened, and we're going to be tighter and more focused, because when you start losing rights,
that's different.
It's a different thing.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, it's going to be mass hysteria if they try to roll back on gay marriage.
Well, and let's not. I think your point about the internet's an interesting one. It's a game changer.
Yeah. Like, that's not going away.
1930s Berlin didn't have a connection to the outside world.
No.
Didn't have anyone. There were no places for a group to get together with each other and say, "Holy shit, how do we fight this?"
Right.
Blah blah blah. They had to be underground. They had to be quiet. They had to be whatever. Well, guess what? That doesn't exist anymore.
Right. The gay kid in Kansas had no clue that there was a place in Europe that was accepting and open.
Right. Right.
Had laws protecting,
Right. It can work against us. There are groups that are ugly and awful that also meet up online. So, the alt-right comes springing to mind as one of the things that's sort of the negative side of that coin.
Yeah. No, that's true.
You've got these neo-Nazis out there who are now feeling emboldened and empowered and appreciated and cared
But ultimately, we all have to figure out how to get along.
Right.
And if your message is that we can't get along, it just doesn't work. It's not going to survive as a long-term message that a lot of people are going to buy into. Yeah, there will be scared and, aliens, marginalized people on the fringes who might find each other.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be something that resonates broadly.
Here's the thing.
Openness resonates.
Right. We're not advocating here for complacency.
No.
It's not like bad things can't happen.
No, we have to be more vigilant than ever.
Absolutely.
But
vigilance is called for, action is called for. But then the other nice thing about the internet is, you know what? I call out every bit of homophobia that I see, every bit of misogyny that I see, every bit of racism that I see. I don't see it all, but if I see it on my Facebook feed, I call it out. And I have a forum to do that. And, people will sometimes feel safe on the internet to say something. And I can say, you know what? It's not okay that you're saying this.
Right.
And what you're saying is based on lies. And here are some links to show you where you have erred in your thinking. And I get called out too. And if I get called out, awesome. So if someone provides me with a link where I'm wrong, fantastic.
Yeah.
I can be corrected.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So I think age of the internet's a good thing.
Yeah, I don't want to be Pollyanna about it or anything, but it's a good thing.
It's a tool. It'll be a little rough when Trump takes it away from us and his
shuts down the internet
as
that's
one
what
of
you
his
would have to do at this
fascist
point.
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll declare cyber martial law. And then he'll let us look at some websites. He'll choose. He'll pick the good ones. Don't worry, everybody. It'll be fine. Anyway, if you have anything that you'd like to say, to chime in on this conversation, please feel free to do so. You can write to us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you can call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yeah, go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
And while on Facebook, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join. It's a closed group, but it's got a great community back behind that little closed group status.
Yeah,
so get yourself in there.
So you're safe. No, you won't be announcing to your friends and family that you're an atheist, but you'll get to blow off some steam and meet a bunch of nice folk.
Absolutely. And thanks, of course, to Mackenzie for all of her help on Facebook.
Yeah, and thanks to Danny, Sarah, and Amy for their moderating work in the Members Only Lounge.
Thanks, of course, as well to the Red Rock Hot Club for the continued use of their music that we use at the opening and close of the show.
And thanks to Gordon Johnston for the use of his organ music. And what else we got?
Thank you, dear listener.
Well, we got people listening to us. Thanks so much.
And to all of our supporters on Patreon.
Oh, yeah, those guys.
So appreciated.
Yeah, if you want to become a Patreon donor, go to it's easy enough to do. You just go to thankgodimatheist.com and click on the Patreon button there, and you'll be able to do it.
And thank you, dear listener, for listening.
We sure do like it when you do.
Bye.